So the yoke is placed by the love of the immediate family to be, to act, to become something other than perhaps what it desires. And so the internal conflict starts within this being, for they do not wish to disappoint. For this is a very big trait in humanity, not wishing to disappoint or let down, because they always have expectations, and often the expectations are not voiced. It is voiceless, and yet one is very aware.
Yes.
So some fare better than others. Some remember that their voice resides in their voice box. And so they speak out and they say, I'm going to be an artist. I don't wish to be a winemaker. Now there are those that are more astute than others. The parents, the winemaker parents, who then support that child to become all that they can be, the best being. And then there are others that say, well, then if you're not going to be the winemaker, you want to be the artist, go and support yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how you cope then. So where is the love then? Is that not what we term conditional love?
Yes.
You can be anything that you want to be as long as it's what I want you to be.
There's a lot of that. Mm-hmm.
And then what happens to this container, this vessel? There's now no longer an ease within the system. The system becomes diseased. So there are many listeners today who resonate with this. But this is not a blame, for they chose those players on the stage, this earth stage. They discussed the scene before they arrived with the other light workers, light beings, to push them and help them to develop what is termed a backbone, to stand up for themselves. There are many support players on this stage, helping to develop and bring out the greatness, the creativity that each of you hold within. And many blame another for holding one down or not allowing you to do something. But it is fear that keeps you in a position that you do not wish to be. And so you blame the other. But when is one going to look at self and self-responsibility? For what is it that gives one joy and a cause for celebration? Is it not freedom to be who you are? But you have now been taught you need to be perfect, you need to be strong, you need to be quick, you need to be rich, you need to be a certain way. Expectation after expectation after expectation. So, whose expectations are you going to live by?
Well, the first thing I saw was a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very large pyramid. And as she lifts her eyebrows, there's light all around it. And the second word or sentence that I hear is a storm is coming, a storm is brewing. And around the top of the pyramid is a circle of light, and it's beaming out, and it's going right up into what they call the heavens, the spheres. So they're telling me that the pyramids are actually communication devices on Earth, and that as we raise our light, then we will connect with the devices, which is, they say, a direct line to God, which is like a telephone exchange, like an old-fashioned switchboard,
Yes.
which is the connection. And there are more and more now that are actually beginning to connect within. So we told this one just before you started the session. She thought, well, she's got no words for today. And yet we told her about contact.
Mm-hmm.
And we also spoke to her about disclosure.
Yes.
So we will tell you right now that we wish to call this session Disclosure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Now, Alba, this is a time for contact. So many of the audience now are going to get very excited because they are now assuming that disclosure and contact means of an alien nature. However, the cosmic joke is that they are alien themselves. And yet what contact have they made within? Mm-hmm. What disclosure have they made without? So there are many what you term keyboard warriors at the moment, calling themselves light warriors, calling themselves freedom fighters. There are many labels. But as this one read the other day, the only good use of a label is that on a piece of cloth, on the clothing that you wear. Mm-hmm. For you have been many, many labels over many, many lifetimes. But this particular lifetime that you have incarnated with and to be, to show your light, to shine your light, to be the light, many are not shining. Many are pounding keyboards and getting frustrated, angry, furious. And the very light that they are trying to shine, they are actually diminishing the energy grid with the anger, with the frequency. So when we speak about disclosure, these beings, these earth beings that want disclosure to take place within their governments, outside their governments, from deep space, they are wanting and they are wanting, but they have not disclosed themselves. They have not been brave enough to speak to their friends, to speak to their families and say, this is what I stand for. For did we not say in a previous session, it is time for standing, it is time to make a stand.
Yes.
And what is it that we mean? What is it that we meant when we say you have to stand for something? For if one cannot stand for oneself, for one does not want to be ridiculed, rejected, ostracized, then how can one expect disclosure from outside oneself if the inside, the inner net, can't correspond with the outer net? This is a question we would like to ask today, Alba, for all your listeners. You know, we told you before about the quickening. And the quickening is taking place. And when midwives assist those that are about to give birth, it is a quickening. And we've spoken before about birthing, and you in this one being the midwives. For there are many, many babies that are adults, and yet they are still treating themselves as babies. It is time to leave the nest, and it is time to fly. Spread those wings, be brave, soar, be the eagle. You need the Americans to look at their symbol, the symbol of the eagle, and what an eagle stands for sharp eyes, for solid landings, for accuracy, for speed. And we've spoken about speed to be quick as lightning. Now is the time, Alba.
I have a question about that because there is so much fear in divulging who you are, in splitting up of families, of friends, just for standing for who you are. What advice do you give those that are in that moment of revealing themselves?
So what about the split in oneself? So would one rather split oneself, kill the relationship oneself? This is when we speak about what it is to be authentic. Your listeners need to think about the people that they admire. Do they go for the wilting daisy, or do they go for the courageous lion? The one that they admire, the one that has the strength to speak their words, their truth, their justice, their equality with the other. For if one cannot speak one's truth, what is the relationship all about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are they giving the book cover instead of the paragraphs inside their book? And that's why we told this one a few years ago, it is time for people to tell their story, their stories. For each human has a story, but how the chapters in your book are being written are up to you. We also told this one that you are all incarnated in order to appease your self. And when we speak about self, we speak about the fractal of the being, the energetic output that you are in this current incarnation. That is what it means to serve the self. So, when you chose this incarnation and were given this mission, you have a job to do. You have a purpose, a life purpose. Now, how does one serve the life purpose? By not serving it. but serving another. The other has their life purpose. This is a time for the light to be shone on oneself, so that the other in the relationship, the families, the friends, the work colleagues, can be shown who or what you are. For have we not said time and time again, who do you live for? Do you live for the approval of others? Or does one live for oneself? For it takes but a few to have the courage to honor themselves, to honor this incarnation, to honor the guides that have sent you on this mission. Or are you going to be like the disciple with Jesus that said about denying him? Are you going to deny yourselves? Or are you going to embrace the music of the spheres? Now, Alba, when you started this session, usually you give this one music to calm her down, for she always has such doubt.
Yep.
And what did she say to you today about that?
Was it necessary?
Why wasn't it necessary?
Because of the waves, the vibrations.
Did she not say that each human has an orchestra inside them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what did she mean by this?
You tell me.
This is not a trick question.
Yeah, I don't like trick questions. I always look stupid when I get the wrong answer.
Oh, there is no wrong answer. There is no right answer. So we told this one about the music of the spheres many years ago.
Mm.
And she was intrigued by this. This is before she understood vibrations or frequencies. She had just heard music of the spheres and she wasn't quite sure what it actually meant. And we told her that each human, when they get incarnated, depending on where the planets are at the time of their incarnation, each planet holds a vibration. Did we not discuss this in chapter 1 of the Discourse with creation?
Yes.
That each planet holds its frequency, its different pattern.
Mm.
So, when earthlings are born, they are born under a certain alignment. The alignment of the planets that are moving in the spheres at that particular time, which causes the frequency which aligns with the being as they come into being. And now we take you back to the beginning of the session with the pyramid, with the communication, the light, and the frequency with all that is.
Yes.
So, this one can feel it right now all through her body as she speaks. So this alignment with the being as they come into incarnation with that music from the spheres is then what you get termed Libra, Taurus, Aries, Aquarius.
Yes.
All different astrological meanings. But the being that comes into being with the alignment of the spheres will set a resonance deep within the structure of the being into the cell structure. So, whenever that particular vibration from the planetary alignments gets heard in a particular song, in a particular tone, in a particular piece of music, they will then start resonating, vibrating in alignment with that sound. And that is why some humans are particularly drawn to a certain singer, a certain piece of music, where another, for them, it sounds like a terrible noise.
Yes.
So that shows you how unique you are, how individual you are, that you are all aligned specifically in your perfect, beautiful bandwidth. But now we would like to expand on this. So you come in with your alignment through the astrological layout. However, you have many fractals. We've spoken about the orange in the session 352. I think that's what it was. About many fractals in your orange. You are all the fractals and you are the orange. So, all those fractals of who you are, each carry a different alignment, a different frequency, a different tone. And yet this being called Jill, that being called Alba, always connects with all the other fractals through the pith of the orange. So they carry all the tones. This one wears white today. You aligned again, wearing white today. You with your turquoise earrings, she had her turquoise earrings on. We made her remove them and we put the crystals. She's showing now the crystal.
Yes.
For we wish humanity to know that they are crystalline of nature. So, back to the pyramid, back to the communication. We'll get back to the orchestra in a minute. So, crystal is a conductor. You are all transmitters and receivers. But how clear are you? Are you clear like crystal? Or is your communication not being received? And when we speak about being received, we are speaking about being received to you. For your communication is always received above. And we wish it to be so below. However, you, humans, are the ones who choose how clear your communications will be. So, we would like the listeners to get their glasses, be it a drinking glass if they don't wear reading glasses, and smear it all around with butter, all over the lens, and see, is that glass crystal clear? It is now blurred. One cannot see. And if one cannot see a situation, one cannot hear a situation. It is time for many to clean their vessels, we spoke about clearing the clutter, all that one carries, the emotional, the mental, the physical, all the trappings. But has one cleared one's inner sight? Has one cleared one's inner hearing? Or is one so busy pounding the keyboards that it is drowning out the voices that need to be heard within? Now we get back to the orchestra. All of you have been many fractals, are many fractals. Many of you have friendships. When you have a dinner party, some of you may think, who shall I invite? Because if I invite this person, and that person, there'll be a good atmosphere, they'll gel, they're on the same vibe. But do you not all have, Alba, many, many different friends?
Yes.
And your relationship with each friend is different. One might be for mental stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
One might be because you enjoy having a craft with them, or painting or sewing. Another might be because you're in the same running club. The other one might be because you are a photographer, so you talk photography. So all those beings have different frequencies, but they all add something to you, for you are picking out their beautiful tune,
Mm-hmm.
that they are, their frequency. Now, we wish to expand this conversation even further. So we spoke many sessions ago about clusters within clusters, did we not?
Yes.
And we said this one is connected to the inner earth, to the multiverses, to the galaxies, for she is the great connector. And did we not always say that all are one?
Mm-hmm.
So the music from each being is connected. If you will but stop and hear their music. When you hear something that is good for you, which aligns with you, that you agree on, don't you say, wow, that's music to my ears?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And it brings a smile. So all of you are full orchestras within. But now it is time for some fine tuning. Alba, we have a request.
Yes.
Do you have any of your tuning forks close by?
Sure do.
We would like you to choose 3, for there are many that are listening that need to be realigned,
Mm-hmm.
so their crystalline structure can lose the weight.
Mm-hmm.
We want clarity. We want those who are listening to now close their eyes, take a deep breath, center themselves, and connect with the frequency of the divine.
Very good. I'm going to focus on the body. And at this time, I'd like to focus on what's going on with our bodies. And I want to focus on the adrenals. The adrenals are perched atop of the kidneys, and they produce hormones to regulate metabolism, the immune system, and blood pressure. So I'd like to ring that tuning fork now and begin to focus on the adrenals. The next frequency I want to focus on is the lungs. The lungs' function is to take in oxygen, transfer it into the bloodstream. And as we exhale, we release all of that toxin from our body. So as we are functioning right now with limited oxygen, I'd like to focus on that so that we can release all of those toxins. And the next vibration is for the blood. The blood provides the body's cells with oxygen and removes the waste from the cells. I want to focus on releasing all of that built up carbon dioxide from the cells. As we take a big breath and release it. How has that affected Joel's body?
She's actually feeling almost like she's got a quivering through her jawline, all through here.
Yes.
And we told her that the 3 that you've chosen are perfect for
Thank you.
kidneys of fear. And many are holding the anger and the fear in the kidneys. The chest, we told this one many years ago when she did a healing and a reading for a lady who had lung cancer. And we showed her each different organ in the body and how each organ holds an emotion. So if you look at the illness, the area that is being affected, you will know which emotion has been trapped, where the energy is not flowing, and address the emotion. Motion, energy in motion. Energy needs to flow. And when it doesn't flow, that means the emotion is not being addressed, the emotion's not flowing, for it is trapped. And many are feeling trapped at the moment. And this virus that many are talking about, where is it trapping people? In the chest. And we told this one is smiling, because as we are speaking, she's thinking to herself, wow, isn't it incredible how it's so simple, and yet people make it so complicated. So when you have a lung problem, we told her, she said about the person that had lung cancer, why the lungs? And we said to her, because the lungs are a holding place and a reservoir. And she said, for what? And we said, for all expectations and grief, for grieving. So what is humanity grieving about at the moment? What are they holding? And where are they holding this grief? They are grieving over expectations. Expectations that have not been delivered. For the governance, they haven't governed themselves. They have handed the governance of self over to what is called a political party. The political parties have let them down. For we have said before, these are not leaders. These need to dissipate. It is time for way showers, somebody to show the way. And what is the way? What is the way? The truth and the light is the way. And that's why this one wore white today. Once again, to embrace all the frequencies, the entire orchestra, the music of the spheres, to honor her path and honor all who are here today. It is time to reclaim your power, to reclaim your light, to get your energy back, to stop hiding, to tell people who you are, what you are, why you are. What is it that you want? How much longer will you hold the vibration of the virus within your energy field and give it energy? For you speak and you speak and you speak about it as if it is an enemy. Yet you have had many viruses before, have you not?
Oh, yeah.
So we get back to the chest. When the people of Earth claim back the power that they are, and when we speak about power, we speak about light. And light is a generator, light is energy, light is frequency, light is sound, light is vibration. And because it covers everything, there is nothing that it will not touch. There is nothing that cannot transmute, transform. And this is the time of transformation. When one stands up and stands for self, there will no longer be a virus. So what does one choose? Does one choose fear? You know, there are many on your earth plane now who practice what is called energy medicine.
Yes.
So these leaders of these lands across your earth plane, why are they not telling their citizens, the people who they work for you are all employers? Do you not pay for a leader to be in power?
We pay our taxes.
But how do they get what you term earth money into their account? Where does that come from for your leader?
From us.
So you are paying them.
Yes.
You are paying them to do a job.
Yep.
So if you are employed by somebody on your earth plane to do a job, is there not a contract that is set in place?
Yes.
Often people are told to go to the attorney and check the contract to make sure that it's all smooth and there are no problems that need to be ironed out. Does this happen?
Some people have tried, but there's a lot of resistance.
I'm talking about somebody that is going to now be employed in a large corporation, and they get given a contract, terms of work for a contract to do a job as a consultant.
Okay, yeah.
It's terms of engagement.
Yes.
So often that person would go to an attorney and say, just check this contract out. Just make sure it's okay. By the way, I'm buying a house. Could you please just check this contract out and make sure that it's all smooth? There's no problem, because I'm about to hand over a large amount of money.
Yes.
Does this happen?
Yes.
It happens. So you, the people, the People's Charter, are employing a group of other humans to do a job, to look after the water, to look after the food supply chain,
Yes.
to look after education, to govern finance, health. There are roads that need to be looked after. There's infrastructure that needs to be put into place. This is what they have been employed by you, the people, to run. They are nothing other than administrators. But now the administrator thinks that they are the employer, but they are not. They are the employee. So things have got a little bit upside down.
Yes.
And as this one was speaking to somebody yesterday, and she said, humanity is a dog. And the tail are the so-called leaders. So why is the dog allowing the tail to govern the entire dog? And the dog is a symbol for those people who fall under the sign Libra, like this one, like you, Alba. And the thing about the Librans are the scales. It's about balance. And Libra is about justice and equality. So we would like to ask the audience today, is there balance in your world? Is there balance in your life? Are your relationships balanced? For if they were, you would be able to speak your truth through your portal of light. Now, many of the governors, the administrators, we would prefer to call them administrators. We know that this might get a bit of a reaction, but you are putting too many on a pedestal. Would you put an administrator in a building on a pedestal?
No.
No, they are there to do a job. And we've said before, why put a doctor on a pedestal? Because you're the patient. You're paying him to do the job he's supposed to do or she's supposed to do. So if that doctor didn't have a patient, that doctor wouldn't have a job.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a symbiotic relationship between each energy exchange. So the energy that you're giving the administrators, are you getting what's called value for money? Are the dollars that you get from the time that you spend working every day, putting into the coffers of the administration, what are you getting in return? At the moment, from where we stand, from where we sit, as we watch the orchestra, something seems not to be tuned too well. Something seems a little out of balance. We do not see that you are getting value for your dollar, value for your time. For what we see is a lot of the tail moving and trying to direct the dog, trying to put the dog in the dog box, in the dog house. Is this where a dog is supposed to be? Or is a dog happier when they are roaming freely?
Mm-hmm.
What makes a dog happy?
Running. Outside.
And yet, Alba, those that govern you, these administrators, while all of you are being put in place, are they allowed to roam freely?
No.
Those which you call politicians, are they not standing on podiums and making announcements?
Yes.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
So if the dog has to stay in the dog box, why is the tail allowed to go out? Just a question we would like to ask.
Mm-hmm.
It is time for people to lift the weight off the chest, to stop the grief, to stop the grieving, for their expectations have not been met. So, as they are the employer of the administration, it is time to put the administration on notice for not allowing the people, the orchestra, to play their music, to sing their music. For an orchestra is supposed to be heard. For the music that we sent to all of you on this earth plane is a beautiful tone. And when many tones are what you termed censored, then there's something missing from the orchestra. There's something missing from the tune, from that song, from that beautiful piece of music. All of you came to incarnate, as we said, to do a job. So how does one do one's job when one is in the dog box?
But I have a question for you because it's not just the administrators that are putting us in a dog box. We are having people who cannot even speak within their own family. Their families are pressuring them to do certain things that they don't want to do. They cannot speak within their families. That seems to be a big one. People are being kept from their children, their grandchildren, for speaking a different truth. What do you say to those that are in that situation, that are grieving within their own family?
Now, I don't think you heard our words, Alba. Right? Who did we say that you came to live for?
Yourself. Just own yourself.
Just own yourselves. Now, those members of those families that have made the choice to take the medicine, who is pressurizing them to take the medicine? Where are they getting the information from to take the medicine?
The wagging tail.
The tail. Now, if the tail was telling the truth, tell a tale. Please, all listeners, remember, tell a tale. Tell a story, and the tail is wagging everywhere. And the dog is rolled over with the paws up. Now, we can't speak to those who have listened to the tales, believed the tales, but we can address the leaders of the nations and find out why they are telling tales. And because they are telling tales, and humanity has put them on a pedestal, those that are taking the medicine are now worshipping the golden calf. And we come back to the self. And what price is the self prepared to pay in order for a dog to wag its tail? The price is becoming too high. We told this one many years ago. She didn't quite understand it then. She's becoming very aware of it now. That we told her humanity had handed over their power to the governments, to the councils, to the administrators, and said, you look after the roads, you look after the health, you look after the education, you look after the infrastructure, you look after the food supplies. Just leave us to do our work, and you just take care of that. They'd handed over the governance. However, the price now has become too high. They handed over the responsibility of self to another. And because they did that, they are now what is called under the thumb. But because they put that together, they can withdraw and say, I no longer wish to play this game. This game doesn't work for me anymore. I'm now going to put in my own terms and conditions. And they said the man will be down on the street. And then there will be a revolution for evolution. For it is a time to evolve. So we get back to the family, Alba. What happened to love? Did love disappear in the face of fear for the virus?
Mm-hmm.
For so many are fearful, and yet they are your brothers, they are your sisters, they are your children, they are your grandparents, they are your friends. So do you reject somebody because they are holding fear? No. You grab them and you tell them it's going to be all right. We will get through this. Nothing lasts forever. You've had Ebola. You've had swine flu. You've had the plague. You've had leprosy. You've had so much through so many years. But what this time period is about transition. It's about change. It's about the crossover. We are coming to a point in humanity, and we talk about ascension. As she realizes with her hands together, as in prayer. Why does one put one's hands together? Because it points up. It is a time for going up, for ascending, and each person is responsible for their own ascension. So there are those that are locked in fear, that are trying to impose their wishes on another, and they say, you won't be able to see your grandchild, you won't be able to see this one, you won't be able to go here, you won't be able to go there, because of fear. Please do not divide one from another. If it is their choosing, we wish you in your hearts to expand and send that vibration out into the energy field. For if you hold the sadness from the rejection of their fear, all you will be doing is pushing it down, lowering, and it'll take longer for the grief to dissipate. So we get back to who you are, the generator, the lighthouse. Plug into the energy field, plug into the pyramid, plug into the all that is. You need to meditate because you are disconnected. You've lost your contact within. You are losing your contacts without. You've been separated from many. So what have you got left? The most powerful source is always within. Turn up the energy. Send out the love vibes. be the joy germ for Alba, each person that listens to this session. If they just stop their fear, their rejection, their upset, their grief, their expectations, their immunity systems will be strong. They will be doing more for humanity than any vitamin could. Or the vitamins that you term it in America. So we wish to speak about energy fields. She's coughing because she needs to get it off her chest. Well, she has been holding rejection. She has been pounding the keyboards. She has been trying to send the message out. She has been trying to wake up those that she felt were asleep. But if you wake up somebody from a deep sleep in the middle of the night, hey, wake up, I've got some news for you. Alba, do you think they're going to be happy?
Very grumpy.
And that's exactly what is happening. People wake up after a certain period of sleep. It is a natural process. We, the guides, we, the disciples, we, the archangels, have everything aligned. It is playing out perfectly. Do you not think that those that are rejecting you do not have their guidance as well?
Yeah.
Or do you egotistically think that you are the one? You are the one that knows it all. So put yourself in the position of the other, those that are rejecting you through fear. How would you feel being them? They can't step into your shoes at the moment. Remember, you are the one that's so-called woke. You are awake. And you are saying they are not. So we would like you to turn the other cheek and look at their position. Now, look at it gently. Know that they are guided. Know that they are part of the team. Know that they are part of the orchestra. Know that this will not last. Did we not say there is a huge light force within and behind you and around you?
Yes.
Alba, we would now like to tell you about a session that this one held about Gaia. And she learned a lot. For the client was in a classroom, and one of her classmates was Gaia. And Gaia said to the classroom, there were only 9 in the class, said, hey guys, listen, I'm having a bit of trouble. Could you come and give me a hand? And so I said, what was the trouble? And she said, well, I've grown this garden of mine. I've put all the creation in it. I've put everything together. I've nurtured it. I've looked after it. And it's been so beautiful for so long. And the client said, oh, well, you know, that's Gaia. Gaia likes to hang around for millions of years. Gaia likes to take her time with things. You know, she's that kind of gardener. She's that kind of creator. And she said, I'm not like that. I like to get in, do a job, get out. Get in, do another job, get out. She says, but you know, that's just Gaia. So I said, so why is Gaia asking for your help? She says, there's something wrong with the garden. I said, well, let's go and have a look. What's wrong with this garden? Oh,
they said, there's like a black energy. It's like a black monster attacking the garden. And we took our purple light and we planted the crystals in deep, deep, deep into her being, right down into the middle of herself. And as much as we put the purple light in, something still wasn't right. So we went in and we looked deeper and deeper. And underneath all the beauty, it was like it was rotten to the core. And so Gaia knew that she needed to now start pulling out her energy from this baby, from this creation that she had put together, that she had created. But she had so much love for all the creation that she had created. She didn't want them to rot with what was coming through. I said, so what did she do? Well, she said, I see now a new earth, and it's green and it's lush. So that is what she's created. She's created a new place for herself, a new frequency that she can hold. For the old frequency is not working anymore. It's not a good vibe. So I said, what are you doing now? She said, what we're doing is we have got what looks like a fisherman's net, and it's gone over the whole earth. And she said, my job is to go around and make sure that there are no little holes, that everything's nice and tight. And she said, it's golden and it's white. And she said, we can see all the beacons of light, all the beings that are light. And we are pulling them into the net. She said, even the animals, all the light, the points of light, and we are grabbing them all. And she said, we are going to transfer them over to this new creation. And at the moment, there is a vibration of adjustment that the humans need to go through. Many have been feeling extremely tired, but because the Christed light is coming closer and closer, many of your listeners will be experiencing very vivid dreams, very strong dreams, recollecting dreams that they've never recollected before. Because, Alba, we are here. And the veil is slipping. And that is disclosure. We are disclosing. We are showing them who they are. We are getting them ready for their next act.
So is this happening while they sleep?
Correct.
Okay. How will we know that we are on the new earth?
We are showing this one picture of a ball of light and a ball of light. And you have a foot here and you have foot there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a pyramid shape because the body's here and the legs there,
Mm-hmm.
spreading, trying to not lose your balance on one side and not wanting to lose the foothold in the other.
when one is not getting caught up in the fear, when one is not attacking one's family and friends and work colleagues, when one knows that we will always provide and the plan is working perfectly, when one doesn't pound the keyboards in fear, frustration, and anger, when one doesn't react negatively, when one doesn't need to get things off one's chest, when one finds oneself meditating more, when one finds oneself out in nature more, noticing the small things, then one knows one is living in a new earth.
I guess I'm there.
Tell us what you've surrounded yourself with.
Yeah.
Where are you now, Alba?
Paradise.
And what makes it paradise?
Nature, serenity, peace.
Alba, paradise is within. But humans can connect better with their paradise within when they are in paradise without. But they want paradise to be without before they connect with the paradise within.
Yeah.
And that's why we come back to disclosure and connection. They need to stop holding everything in. They need to start disclosing what's troubling them, their fears. Get it all out. Get it all out. Stop holding it in the chest area. Relax the kidneys. Don't let the blood boil anymore. Those 3 tuning forks. They need to come back to the session and they need to listen to those tuning forks again. They need to get back into their balance. They need to get back into their alignment. They need to realize that they are in the perfect place at the perfect time in the perfect family. That family where they feel so separated from is for a short period. Please. You have all been separated over many lifetimes. Those that are in alignment, that play the music, the celestial music together, and the patterns intertwine, will always play their music together. And they will go back to their landing platforms, their landing stations, and they'll say, wow, I attacked you. Look how you reacted. Man, you weren't supposed to do that this time. Remember, you were supposed to rise above. What happened to you? I was playing my part so well. I rejected you. And you curled up and you cried. And you said, woe is me. And you forgot that we were playing a part. And remember last time, in 1663, do you remember when you went to the dungeons? And I was there for you. And then I went to the dungeon and then you were there for me. And remember that time that you rejected me so badly. And now I'm rejecting you. And please, to remember, none of you are alone. Go to your pyramid, your pyramid of light. Open the door, go inside, find your golden chair, your golden throne. Connect with Jesus, with his golden heart. Anchor in him. Be at peace. It is time for the white. It is time for the white light. It is time for the white wearing. It is time for the truth. It is time for acceptance. It is time for heart acceleration. It is time for the tail to know that the dog now is awake. And it is time for the dog to roam free. 4, it is the time for disclosure. It is time for you to disclose who, what you are. Please know, we have everything lined up. There is an army behind you. There is an army in front of you, above, below, and to your sides. Know that when you are in your dream state, we are with you. We are giving you the strength for the next day. We are showing this one the symbol of a heart with a crack through it, like 2 pieces. This is not a time for cracked hearts. This is a time to be whole, to put the pieces back together again. None of you can change another. Please do not try and change another. If another asks for your point of view, gently say, this is my truth. This one has learned now to say, well, this is what I believe with the information that I have on hand today. However, tomorrow with new news, with new information, I might change my mind. I am not set in stone, for I am energy. I flow. And if you do not flow, you do not grow, you do not expand. Do not try and get another onto your path. You have your own GPS. Alba talks about a GPS, having a GPS in the session, somewhere to go, a route to follow. Your route has already been ordained. We have already set your route. All we are asking you is to stop, breathe, reconnect, and then connect with your GPS. And your GPS will lead you home.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Is there anything else, or do you feel that we are complete for today?
Alba, she was just about to say we are more than complete.
Very good. Very good. So who have we been speaking with today?
Uriel.
Uriel. Thank you.
Archangel of light.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And with that, Uriel, I'm going to strike the tuning fork for the heart for all of those who have been heartbroken by all of this going on. And let's release all of that heartache and repair that heart with love. And with that, Jill, you can begin coming back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
That was quite a journey.
Yeah.
How did that feel for you? Very strong words.
Yeah, they got quite political.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yep, quite political.
I think maybe I think they want to show people that they're actually stronger than that they've got more power. They've got more power than they realized
Yep, yep, yep.
if they use their voices.
If they're using it, and people are just not, they're not expressing themselves. They're not really speaking their truth. And when they speak their truth, it comes out as anger, or comes out as just being obnoxious. And they have to just find a balance to be able to say, this is my belief, this is what I believe in, and be confident in that without putting somebody else down.
You know, you don't want to put anybody down. That's the whole thing. You know,
Yep.
you don't do name calling. We're not school children. You know, you've got to ascend. You've got to be above that.
Yes.
And I found it so interesting that the virus affects the lungs.
Oh, that's why I picked the lungs today.
And I know, look at you. And and that it's about that's what people you know what? It's about systems that are changing. Remember they told me ages ago that that transistor radio has been smashed beyond repair, so you've got to put all the new systems in place, new education,
Yeah.
new health, a different way of being. And I think that's why it's the lungs. I mean, COVID's actually come as a hell of a gift for change. We might not see it like that because we're looking at it so closely. But if you rise above it, the division that it's causing with all the families, the pain and the separation is for change.
Yeah.
Now, those people that are taking the medicine, taking it, wow, thank you, because you're doing it for change. Just start sending the love to those that keep on rejecting us. Just send more and more and more love because we're connected so they will feel it.
Yep. Yep. You know, right before this session, I got the message that I needed to do the tuning forks. And I wanted to really focus on that part, because that really is part of the immune system. It's part of where we hold all of that. And it's our circulatory system. You know, it's so many people have been suppressing so much, and that does affect your lungs. So yeah, I hope it helps people out there. I truly do. And you know, I'm not done. As I continue to grow, you know, I keep coming up with more stuff. And these were new tuning forks that I had not used before, and I think they're just beautiful. These are nice. So anything that you have to say to the folks out there, Jill?
Yes, start the orchestra. You know, let that get if you can get a session with Alba. Are you doing group sessions with the tuning forks?
I am doing frequency sessions. I don't know for how long or where, because right now I do have a challenge ahead of me of internet access in the near future. So I'm still trying to work things out. But if you can if I put it out there that I have a frequency session, yes, definitely take advantage of it, because it's helped me. I got to tell you that I recently had a session with Tabash, who is the entity channeled by Blair Styra, and he was almost the whole time he spoke about these frequencies, these tuning forks, and how my work is going to be changing because of them, and how my body structure has changed because of them. So I know it's working for me, and people who have been to these frequency sessions have told me that it's affecting them. So yeah, take advantage of this. This is the new medicine, vibration. We have to really take that into consideration, that vibration is very, very important. in whatever way.
Well, it's who they are. So they're just getting in alignment.
Exactly.
So why wouldn't you get your vehicle running smooth? Oh, I forgot to tell you.
Yes.
When I did the YouTube session the other day, because I had a little meltdown because I was just feeling the heaviness. And they said, when I said please, they took the P away and they replaced it with lease. And they said, this is your vehicle,
Yes.
your body. You don't lease it, you own it. And if you own your vehicle or your building or your house and you're not a tenant, then how would you look after it?
Right.
You would look after repairs and maintenance. You wouldn't let erosion set in.
Yep.
You would insure it, etc., etc. So the way we insure our bodies is by feeding it well, walking it well, drinking, beautiful, fresh, pure stuff, so that we can be that channel.
Yeah.
Instead of the blurry butter or something on that.
And the glasses. Yeah.
That's, I think, what people need to remember, if anything, is time to reconnect with themselves so that they can connect with the divine.
Yeah.
Well, they are divine. So they have to do the divine with the divine.
And more meditation. If you're not doing meditation now, take a few minutes every day to just breathe. You don't have to spend 20 minutes chanting or anything. You could do it while you're on the toilet, on the loo. Just taking a moment to just connect. Just connect. Whatever moment you have, just take that moment and just breathe. And it's a gift that you give to yourself to be able to connect like that. And there's no prize for getting it right or wrong. You just do your best. That's really what I have to say. And one of the things also that I wanted to bring up is the fatigue that everybody is feeling, the aches and pains. This is this light that's coming towards us that is affecting everybody. So that came up in the session too.
Well, they said that this was a very important session, just before we started. Remember, because we didn't think we were really going to do any sessions or whatever. Then you said, no, you had a feeling that we had to do a session.
Yeah.
And I thought, I had absolutely nothing. And about literally 5 minutes before, they just said disclosure.
Yes.
I'm thinking, what the hell? They're going to bring a whole lot of aliens through or something.
Well, they sure did talk a lot. So Uriel really let us have it today. So that was great.
Thanks,
so I want to thank everybody for watching and for being with us today. And I hope you wore your white. So thank you, and Jill and everybody there for being a part of this. Much love to you. Bye-bye.